Guys, today, at this point, folks, the Indiana Fever, they're just playing around with us. They're just not taking this offseason seriously. They signed a backup, then they signed the backup's backup. Now they signed the backup's backup. Not to mention all the guards that we're bringing in on a training camp contract. Meanwhile, we still don't have a real starting power forward.
The Indiana Fever just made their fourth guard signing of the offseason. Not a center, not a power forward. Another guard, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, 5'9", coming off a season where she averaged 1.7 points in 8.6 minutes per game with the Atlanta Dream. Meanwhile, the Fever still don't have a legitimate backup center behind Aaliyah Boston, and their starting power forward situation remains completely unresolved. This isn't just questionable roster construction anymore. This is a pattern that's making fans question whether the front office understands what they're watching.
Folks, the Indiana Fever have signed Shatori Walker-Kimbrough to the team. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. When we need a backup center, when we need another post player, Amber Cox is over here getting more guards. As a Caitlin fan who once told people to trust the process, I'm totally okay with these moves. Another 5'9" guard. Here we go again with this front office.
Let's break down what the Fever actually need versus what they're acquiring. They have Aaliyah Boston at center, 6'5", an all-star. Behind her, Damaris Dantas at 6'3", who's primarily a stretch 4, not a true center. Then there's Masha Hines-Allen at 6'1", who spent most of last season as an enforcer off the bench, not logging serious minutes as a backup 5. The power forward position is even more concerning. Monique Billings is listed as the starter at 6'4", but she's never been an elite starting 4 on a championship caliber team. There's no proven backup there either. Now compare that to the guard situation. They've got Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell as the starting backcourt. Lexi Hull coming off the bench. They signed Taya Harris, a combo guard. They brought in Raven Johnson on a training camp deal. Sophie Cunningham, another guard. And now Shatori Walker-Kimbrough makes it even more crowded. The Fever have 7 guards competing for maybe 3.5 rotation spots, while they have 4 total post players for 2 positions, and only one of those 4 is a proven starter.
The game? Are we really setting up for this? Masha Hines-Allen being a real part of this rotation? Is this really what's going on? Oh, I hope not. I sure hope not. A new addition to the squad. Welcome to Indiana, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. And I want to let everybody know, none of this really has to do with the players that they're bringing in. It has to do with them not addressing the need. Seriously, no disrespect to Kimbrough or Ty Harris or Monique Billings. I mean, Raven Johnson called us all racist, so I'm not going to bend over backwards for her. But no disrespect to all these people.
Here's what makes this particularly frustrating for Fever fans. There are available front court players sitting in free agency right now. Odyssey Sims and Erica Wheeler both have history with the organization and the fan base. More importantly, there are legitimate post players available who could address the actual roster holes. Instead, the front office keeps circling back to guards, as if they're collecting them like trading cards. The strategy doesn't make sense from any angle. If you're trying to build depth, you build it at positions where you're thin, not where you already have 7 players. If you're trying to upgrade talent, you target starting caliber players at your weakest positions, not backup guards who averaged under 2 points per game last season. If you're trying to create competition in training camp, you do it at positions where the rotation is unclear, which would be the 4 and the 5, not the guard spots that are already decided.
It's like gold coins in your favorite RPG, front court yeah, they're mining big time. This team is mining gold coins, short guards, big time. Another guard, what are you doing? The Fever got more guards than a prison yard and still no front court. Nothing against the player because I like her, but good Lord, another guard. Nah, this is wild. How badly do you want Caitlin playing the 4? Another 5'9" guard, malicious, incompetent, stupid.
What's happening here is a fundamental disconnect between what the roster needs and what the front office is prioritizing. Caitlin Clark just finished a Rookie of the Year season where she transformed the Fever from a lottery team into a playoff contender. The next step is building a championship caliber roster around her. That means addressing weaknesses, not compounding them. Championship teams in the WNBA are built inside out. Look at the Las Vegas Aces with Aja Wilson anchoring the paint. Look at the New York Liberty with Brianna Stewart and Jonquel Jones giving them size and versatility. The Fever have one elite post player in Aaliyah Boston, and instead of surrounding her with complementary front court pieces, they're stockpiling guards who won't see meaningful minutes.
Office. We have added another guard. Shout out to Rhodes over there at Black and White Sports too. Thank God. Was afraid we wouldn't have enough guards. By the way, folks, all this BS drama and Ari and Sims just sitting out there. Seriously. Seriously. Two players who've been on this team, who have been embraced by the fans. Ari McDonald, Odyssey Sims. No Stephanie White. Just sitting out there. And we're bringing in outsiders. It's bad enough that we're bringing in guards, but the guards that we're bringing in are outsiders. They're asking for fans not to be happy. They're downright asking for fans not to be happy. Lynn Dunn, another champion.
The comparison to other teams makes this even more glaring. The Las Vegas Aces just signed Kennedy Carter, addressing a specific need in their backcourt with a proven veteran who can contribute immediately. That's strategic roster building. The Fever are doing the opposite, adding depth at a position where they already have surplus, while ignoring the glaring holes that will cost them games. Think about what happens if Aaliyah Boston gets injured or gets in foul trouble. Who's playing center? Damiris Dantas for extended minutes? She's not built for that role. Masha Hines-Allen? She's 6'1" and plays physical, but she's not a rim protector or a true post presence. The Fever would be forced to go small, which completely changes their identity and puts enormous pressure on their perimeter defense. Now think about the power forward spot. If Monique Billings struggles or gets hurt, who's stepping in? There's no clear answer on this roster. They might have to slide Damiris Dantas to the 4 and play even smaller, or they'd have to give major minutes to someone who hasn't proven they can handle that responsibility. Either way, it's a massive vulnerability that opposing coaches will exploit.
Next season, I can assure you of that. In case you guys don't know, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, she won a championship with the Mystics in 2019 and most recently played for the Dream in 2025, averaging 1.7 points in 8.6 minutes per game.
This isn't just about one signing. It's about a pattern of decisions that suggest the front office either doesn't understand roster construction or doesn't have a coherent plan. When you sign your fourth guard while still lacking front court depth, you're telling everyone exactly where your priorities are, and those priorities don't align with building a championship contender. Stephanie White is a proven coach who won a championship with the Connecticut Sun system, but even the best coach can't overcome roster construction failures. You can't scheme your way out of being undersized. You can't draw up plays that magically create rim protection when you don't have the personnel. White needs her front office to give her the tools to succeed, and right now they're handing her a toolbox full of hammers when she needs a wrench.
Aces are bringing in Kennedy Carter. We're over here picking up we're almost at a Goodwill, and we're just going through picking up used toys. You know, it's almost like we're a donation center and we're just taking donations, you know, like I'm not sure what this front office is doing. I'm pretty sure Emma Mieseman is still available. That's just a pipe dream. That's never going to happen at this point. Stephanie White, I said this earlier. The only thing you can do to save your behind when it comes to this fan base, when it comes to the criticisms, is win a championship. It's the only thing that you can do. Because if you guys don't win a championship, well, you did the same thing this upcoming season as you did last year. And we all want to be better than last year, don't we? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Like the video, hype the video, subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. See you next time, and as always.
So where does this leave the Fever heading into the 2025 season? They're going to be one of the smallest teams in the league, relying heavily on Aaliyah Boston to anchor the paint with minimal proven support. They'll have exceptional guard play with Caitlin Clark running the offense, but they'll struggle against teams with size and physicality in the front court. Teams like the Aces, the Liberty, and even the Minnesota Lynx will be able to exploit that size disadvantage repeatedly. The frustration from fans is completely justified. This is a franchise that stumbled into generational talent with Caitlin Clark, and instead of maximizing the window while she's on a rookie contract, they're making puzzling roster decisions that don't address obvious needs. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough isn't a bad player. She won a championship with the Washington Mystics in 2019, so she knows what it takes to win, but she's not the piece this roster needs right now. Here's what should have happened. The Fever should have been aggressive in pursuing a backup center who can give Aaliyah Boston rest without the team collapsing defensively, someone who can protect the rim, rebound, and hold their own against physical post players. Then they should have targeted a starting caliber power forward who can stretch the floor, defend multiple positions, and complement Boston's inside game. Those two moves would have transformed this roster from a playoff team into a legitimate contender. Instead, they've added depth at guard, a position where they already had 7 players competing for limited minutes. It's roster construction malpractice, and it's the kind of decision-making that gets front offices fired. The only way Amber Cox and this front office save face is by winning a championship. Anything less than a deep playoff run, and these decisions will be scrutinized endlessly. Think about the message this sends to Caitlin Clark. She just carried this franchise to relevance, broke viewership records, sold out arenas across the league, and brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA. The front office's job is to reward that by building a winner around her. Instead, they're bringing in backup guards while the front court remains a question mark. How long before Clark starts wondering if this organization is serious about winning? The comparison to how other franchises handle their superstars is stark. When the Aces had Aja Wilson, they surrounded her with Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. When the Liberty got Breanna Stewart, they immediately paired her with Jonquel Jones and built a complete roster. The Fever have 2 young stars in Clark and Boston, and they're wasting precious time with questionable roster moves. Fever fans have been patient. They endured years of losing before Caitlin Clark arrived. They showed up, they supported the team, and they created one of the best home court advantages in the league. They deserve better than watching their front office sign the backup while ignoring the positions that actually need reinforcement. And here's the thing that makes this even more frustrating. There's still time to fix it. Free agency isn't over. There are trades that can be made. The front office could still pivot, admit they've misread the roster needs, and make aggressive moves to address the front court. But every day that passes without those moves happening is another day wasted. So the question for Amber Cox and the Fever front office is simple. Are you building a championship team, or are you just collecting players? Because right now, it looks like the latter. And if that doesn't change soon, this roster is going to hit a ceiling that talent alone can't break through. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston deserve better. Stephanie White deserves better. And Fever fans, who've waited years for this moment, absolutely deserve better. What do you think the Fever should do? Should they make a trade to address the front court, or do you trust this roster construction? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're as frustrated as the rest of Fever Nation, and subscribe because we'll be tracking every move this front office makes. This offseason isn't over yet, and neither is this conversation.